Hello all. We will be starting the event in 2 minutes. So if you want to get seated, we would appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, welcome everyone. Good evening. Good evening. It's so exciting to see everyone tonight. This is our 7th annual Big Reveal event for the Florida Data Science for Social Good. Woo! And and this year, this is the kickoff event for Jack's Tech Week. So all of you tech heads out there, be aware of what's going on with Jack's Tech Week. My name is Dan Richard, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Psychology, and I co-direct the Florida Data Science program with my colleague over here, Karthik.
Thanks, Dan. And my name is Dr. Karthikeyan Umapati. I go by Karthik, an associate professor in UNF School of Computing and another co-director for this program. So along with us, we have other two big team players with us who are our board members. Harif, who is from Jacksonville Jaguar, and Matt from NLP Logic. And you will be hearing from them quite soon. So along with them, then we have other key important players who are our industry mentors, whom we call as Sherpas, and our faculty members and faculty members from other colleges, whom we call as faculty leads. So this whole internship is 12 weeks during the summer, starts in the first week of June and goes on until this week. So that's 12 weeks. And every other week, we meet interns, and we also meet with all of this group of experts for about 90 minutes, and we have a very in-depth discussion about each project, each finding, and each directions that our interns are taking. And that depth discussion is key in why we are successful and why now our 3 community partners are going to get a product that is very useful for them. So again, very big thanks for them. And many of them are in person with us, and some of them are joining us via online in YouTube. So now the other key reason why we are here. So this year we worked with 7 interns, and we can see who they are. So first, Partha, who is the now second year data science master student at UNF. So, and he will be graduating at the end of this academic year, and he is considering to pursue into PhD programs, right? Then we have Patrick, who is graduated in the end of the spring from psychology program in UNF. Initially, he was not sure what to do, but now he has figured out that he needs to get into graduate program, and most likely he's going to enter into a psychology science graduate program. Right? Then we have Vinaya. She's from business analytics in USF. So she's also second year student. At the end of this year, she will be looking for a business analytics, data analytics job, right? And then we have Aishwarya. She's the senior data science student at UNF. She has decided to pursue a graduate program right after graduating. And then we have Shriram. He is also USF business analytics student. He is also second year student, and he also will be looking for a job at the end of this academic year for business analytics, data analytics positions. And then we have Amanda. So she graduated in the end of the spring semester from psychology in UNF, and she just started this week a graduate program in psychological sciences. And then our last intern, Yuan Wan, she's 5th year social work PhD student at Washington University in St. Louis. So she will be wrapping up her doctoral work by end of the next year, and the next year she will be looking for her full-time faculty positions. Right? So, and we soon going to hear from them, and they are the one going to do the most of the talking. But before that, we have to brag a little bit more. So we, as Dan mentioned, this is our 7th year doing this DSSG program. And we, including the 7 interns, so we have worked with 51 students. So our work is very intensive, so that kind of limits how many number of interns we can work with at the same time. And as you can see, that we kind of work with interns from multiple disciplines, and that's one of the key success and the key trademark of what we do. And as you can see, out of the 51, 19 of them are from social science discipline, and that includes psychological sciences, political sciences, and anthropology, and those kind of disciplines. The other disciplines are the business, computing, data science, stats, health science are the other disciplines that we typically work with. And while majority of the students we recruit have been from UNF, we do make consistent effort to recruit students from other Florida universities and the universities from outside Florida. But our selection order is first UNF, first, then Florida universities, then the outside Florida universities. Then majority of the students, we work with our masters, but we do make sure that we are creating the slots and creating right opportunities for undergraduates also to participate along with our work. Then in regards to the kind of community partners work, as the name suggests, Florida DSSG, we do make our consistent effort to reach Florida, all the nonprofits across the state, but we have worked mostly with our Northeast, nonprofits in the Northeast because of our vast network in here, but we've been making consistent effort to reach out to other nonprofits across the states. All right. So with that, now I will invite Dan to explain what exactly is the Florida DSSG.
Yeah, so what is data science for social good? Well, of course, many of you are familiar with the concept of data science, which is gaining those actionable insights from data. But those insights and what gives our program motivation are our community partners. So we partner with nonprofit organizations. They kind of bring the focus on the social issues and then also bring their data. And then we have interns, as you saw from multiple disciplines, work on these projects over the 12-week program so they can provide these decision support products for those nonprofit organizations so that they can do good work in the community. And so that's what DSSG is all about. And we say that we are social trustees of knowledge, and so we invite our community partners and our interns and all of our Sherpas and faculty leads to share their knowledge in the support of social good. And so that's what we're about. Of course, this program is not possible unless we have funding for our students. Of course, Karthik and I, we volunteer our time. We don't get paid, but the students, we want to make sure and pay them. So all of that funding and funding for this event comes from our, this year came from our corporate sponsors. Our gold sponsors, NLP Logics, the Jaguars, and the Community First Foundation were supporting us there. We also had two of our nonprofit organizations also provide funds to support the student work as well, and that was Cathedral Arts and Florida Philanthropic Network. And of course, many other corporate sponsors came along and supported us. So the PGA Tour, Advos Legal, Miller Electric, HC Brands, Market Ounce, Innovation Labs, and iVenture all supported the work of the students. And so let's give them a big round of applause for their support. So we'd now like to invite two of our board members and also our corporate sponsors to come up and greet you and share some thoughts with you about DSSG.
Hey everybody, my name is Ari. I've been part of the board for Data Science for Social Good since inception, and I've also been able to represent the Jaguars in our involvement in this. And I think what's so unique about this is that, you know, as the Jaguars, what do we have to do with, you know, anything besides winning games? And a big part of our mission is supporting the community and championing the community. And how we get there is through, you know, to keep throwing more sports analogies at you, is through teamwork. And this program and everything that comes through it is such a great representation of teamwork through the interns, the Sherpas, the community partners, Dan and Karthik. There's so much that goes through together to come to where we are. And we take this raw information that's just data and turn it into something that can, you know, change lives and futures. And it's so cool to watch that process. I really enjoy it every year. I'm really excited to see what you all have to say today. And I can't wait to see how it changes Jacksonville for the future.
So thanks, Ari. I probably don't have a whole lot to add to that, but I do want to sneak in a few thank yous. The first is thank you to everybody who came today in person and online to help support this. It's fantastic to see the great turnout. And then I know behind the scenes there's a lot of people, we had some names up, that volunteer their time. And it's very incredible. There's so much, so much that goes on behind the scenes that without people donating time, we just wouldn't be here. And we had the corporate sponsors up. Certainly, this event, it takes funding, and so thank you for all of our corporate partners for being there and helping. It's fantastic. And most importantly, and if we could get a round of applause again for this, is really for Dan and Karthik, because thank you. Yep, just an amazing amount of work that goes into this, and the leadership that they show, and it's throughout the full year. You know, a lot of it happens in the summer, but there's a lot of planning that happens in the fall. So thanks, guys, for making that possible. And with that, I'd like to invite Amanda up to the stage to kick us off here.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Yelverton, and this summer, UNUN and I celebrated and enhanced arts education in Duval County. We used a data-centered approach, and we also wanted to make an emphasis on engaging our community. The unsung hero of bringing our students, families, and communities together is our principals. Through their dedication to the arts, we've seen transformational results. Throughout Duval County, to highlight the dedication of our principals, I'd like to share a story about one principal in particular. Principal Davina Parker at Spring Park Elementary School brought the arts and arts integration programs into her classroom. She did this in a pretty unique way. She did this by combining literacy with theater, and through this combination, these stories were able to come to life. I'd now like to share just a few words about Principal Parker. Principal Parker said that she had never seen the students more engaged than within these arts integration programs. She'd never seen them more confident. She also says that she is so happy to reap the benefits of continued community partnerships and her continued partnership with the Cathedral Arts Project. So this photo is extremely important, and what I'd like to note is that this child is enjoying an accessible field trip, right? A free and accessible field trip that was provided this summer to over 2,200 students in Duval County. I'd also like to mention that the student is wearing a beautiful mask. So this summer, students were sent home literacy packets that combined both a reading element and an arts element. These students were then able to wear their masks to the free and accessible field trip that CAP put on this summer to go along with the theme of Unmasked. The Cathedral Arts Project's mission is to inspire every child's creative spirit. They do this by their relentless empowering to advocate for arts and arts equity, and they also promote diversity by encouraging authentic self-expression with all of their students. Through the power of collective impact, CAP nurtures their students and are able to engage the community, partners, policymakers, principals, and many, many more. In 2017, CAP began utilizing the LEAD survey. And what this survey did was it collected information on arts education in Duval County. Fast forward to 2022, FL-DSSG's project with CAP looked at the current state of arts programming in Duval County. They also were able to pinpoint different arts factors that directly contributed to better student outcomes. So through this 2022 project, the free and accessible field trip to over 2,200 students was possible. Looking into CAP and FL-DSSG's continued partnership, the creation of this year's project was possible. And this year we're looking at creating a scoring system while actively giving feedback to each principal. So, unfortunately, in the state of Florida, arts education is not recognized as a core academic subject. It is seen as at a degree of lesser importance. This highlights a network of inequities such as educational policies, resource allocation, and the awareness and impact of arts education. Now, why these three main factors are so important is because they have a direct impact on student development. And that's where this project, this 2023 project, came into action. So this year we wanted to stay true to CAP's mission, but we also wanted to explore generating a scoring system for arts education in Duval County. We wanted to do this by highlighting the unique different aspects of our principals and providing feedback to them. We also wanted to keep in mind our intention to expand the awareness of and accessibility to arts education. Okay. So our project combined both public and private data. So the public data used both data from the Florida Department of Education and DCPS websites. Some of the different variables that we looked into within these two were percent of minority students or number of different field trips, right? Whereas when we're looking at our private data, we're using the 4 waves of LEAD data and the modified LEAD survey questions. And within these two, the variables we looked at, for example, were different types of governance per se. So with any data-driven projects comes obstacles and challenges, and this project was no different, right? So we first wanted to distinguish the origin of where our data came from. We wanted to get that set in stone. We then wanted to look at the balance between the 4 waves of lead data and the data we had from FDOE. And then lastly, we had to overcome the obstacle of creating a scoring system when faced with limited data availability. I'd now like to invite Yuan to join me on stage. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Amanda. Good evening. My name is Yuan Yang, and I'm going to start it with our data-driven methodology. So we first merged our data, our lead survey data, with the public resource data from Duval County Public Schools and the Florida Department of Education. And then we utilized the feature engineering techniques to handle outliers and the missing data. Subsequently, we selected specific classroom features and defined the classroom memberships using methods like k-means, and also we utilized the other classroom methods as a robust check. And finally, we established this scoring mechanism based on those defined clusters. And we also provide feedbacks back to our principals as a vital component of this methodology. And we applied clustering on all the public schools, which resulted into 3 main groups, as you can see on the slide. So those are elementary schools, middle and high school combined, and the magnet school with an arts focus. And within the elementary school and the combined middle and high school clusters, we further identified 2 subclusters for each, making for a total presentation of 5 distinct groups. It's very important to note that our scoring and evaluation mechanism will vary from one cluster to another. And we come up with the 6-dimension evaluation attributes to help us with our evaluation task. The first one is access. Access is trying to explain the opportunities for students to participate in arts education. And in this dimension, we have 5 variables. The second dimension is funding. This is our financial resources that is allocated to the arts education, and variables like how much money allocated to arts programs and number of funding sources are included in this dimension. The third one is quality. This one is talking about the standards of arts programs, and we have 2 variables falling into this dimension. And the fourth one is the governance. This one highlights the framework, especially the school's leadership structure while they're implementing arts programs. And the fifth one is engagement. This one refers to the collaborations between teachers, students, families, and the broader communities. And variables like number of partnerships and community activities are also included in this dimension. And the last dimension, we call it other dimension. So this one, we included other attributes, which will be included in our data for a thorough analysis. So with the 6-dimension attributes, we come up with this Celebration Arts Index. Recall that we have 5 clusters, and within each clusters, schools will be classified into one of these 4 groups, whether they're going to be blossoming, elevating, achieving, or flourishing. And based on the ranges of the data, these 4 groups reflect the 4 quartiles in each clusters. And it's very important to note here that the ranges of classifying the school into one of these 4 groups will vary from one group to another. This is because we really want to highlight the unique characteristics and needs for each group. And now I'm going to expand a little bit more about our scoring system. As we mentioned that, we're going to evaluate school based on these 6 dimensions on the left-hand side, and then they will be classified into one of these 4 groups. Let's take access as an example. If this school are evaluated in the 4th quartile, they will receive 4 stars in the flourishing group. For the second dimension, if they are in the 2nd quartile, we will give them 2 stars, and they are in the elevating, achieving group. For the third dimension, if they are in the 3rd quartile, we give them 3 stars, and in the elevating group. The same logic, if they are in the 1st quartile, we give them 1 star. And for those schools, if they didn't report any data, we will give them this outlined star, as you can see on the bottom on the left-hand side. And they're still in the blossoming group. However, they will receive fewer points compared to other blossoming members. And finally, we will give them this total Art Star scores. And this one is to represent their overall performance of their arts education. And this card, we will definitely provide it to our principals. However, we will further provide this STAR report. So this is a narrative text summarizing the growth, success, and standout points for the school's arts education program. And in addition to that, we will further provide suggestions for improvement, and those suggestions are highly customized based on the school's own data. And I really want to highlight the importance of this feedback system back to our principals in 4 aspects. First one, it focuses on the collective impacts for schools by integrating the school's arts program objectives with the community goals. Second, it addresses CAP's mission statement, which is trying to provide equal access to arts education for all. Third, it also helps to the utilization of the modified lead survey data by linking different data sources together for a comprehensive analysis. The last point, it also highlights this policy advocacy pieces, fostering the policymaking and reshaping from a macro perspective. In terms of solutions and recommendations, our scoring evaluation system, which is actually part of our DSSG product, will play an essential role in terms of tracking the progress of arts education development in Northeast Florida. Meanwhile, the wide collaborations with our stakeholders, the ensuring the equal access to arts education, and the increasing the public awareness of how important arts education really means for our children cannot be emphasized more. And most crucially, this initiative cannot be achieved with our the joint efforts from community and individuals. In this case, we really want to extend this invitation to everybody here today to jointly contribute to this important action. Your participation and contribution can make a significant impact in the lives of our children and our future community. Thank you. All right, now I'm gonna pass to Ash.
Thank you, UNUN, for inviting me. Hello, everyone. My name is Ashwarya Pawar. My teammates Patrick, Shiram, and I have been working on the GrowFL project. So the last project was all about arts education, and our project is all about second stage companies. What are second stage companies, and what is their significance to the state of Florida? Y'all may think that large companies provide the lion's share of jobs in the state of Florida, but you may be overlooking smaller second stage companies. Second stage companies are defined as having an annual revenue of $750K to $50 million and having 6 to 150 W-2 employees. In Florida, over 37% of jobs come from these companies. And 15% of companies in Florida are second stage companies. We can see that these companies are creating a significant number of jobs and contribution to Florida's economy. In 2020, there was a net increase of jobs of over 225,000 within the state of Florida. And this growth of second stage companies is due to from recovery from COVID-19, where unfortunately a lot of companies closed. 2020 is a year that I bet none of us will ever forget. More than 400,000 businesses have expanded, and that is all due to increase in job creation from these companies. Due to these reasons, we can see that the financial health of the state is not only from large companies, but from small and medium-sized companies as well. That is why we need to watch and support these companies, because these companies support statewide economic development. We can see how impactful second stage companies are to the state of Florida. But unfortunately, these companies face a lot of challenges, and they don't become large companies, or they don't reach their potential that they can be. This is where GrowFL comes into play. GrowFL is a nonprofit organization that aims to help growth of second stage companies by providing resources and spotlighting companies. GrowFL also focuses on economic development. For every dollar invested with GrowFL, $9 are returned on the investment. Also, GrowFL has impacted the regional GDP by $942 million. Isn't that amazing? GrowFL has many programs that support small businesses by providing them resources for company growth. One of their primary programs is called Florida's Companies to Watch. GrowFL has a unique awards program called Florida's Companies to Watch, where 50 second stage companies are honored that demonstrate high growth, innovation, and community service. There are 3 rounds to this program: applicants, finalists, and honorees. I know I'm saying rounds. It may seem like these companies are fighting, but they're not. They're competing against one another. So all companies that apply are applicants. Then they're filtered down and shortlisted as finalists, and then are further reviewed, and then 50 companies are finally selected who become honorees. And all 50 companies get resources, and CEOs get mentorship along with they're spotlighted as well. We can see how important Florida Companies to Watch data is to our project. Now I'm going to invite Patrick to talk about our project goals.
All right, thank you, Ash. So the goal of our project was to identify trends and patterns across different regions and industries for GrowFL. That way they could highlight opportunities of growth and expansion within their program. And so to start, we wanted to first look at the data that we had and do data pre-processing, data cleaning and data merging. Then we wanted to move into text pre-processing by doing text modeling or text mining, and then text pre-processing. Then we wanted to create a Tableau dashboard by first creating different visualizations in Tableau and then combining them to be able to tell a story with our data. Okay, so then the data that we got was from the Florida Companies to Watch program. And we had different types of data, like text data, which had company culture and philanthropic activities. We also had financial data, like revenue growth and FTE growth. FTE growth being if you have 2 part-time employees, they're combined together to account for 1 full-time employee. So we had that data. Then we also had demographic data, like gender. We had gender, race for the company, and then we also had counties and regions. Then we had different industry types. So we had 30 different industry types that, with the help of GrowFL and the NAICS codes used by the U.S. Census Bureau, we were able to condense down into 9 main industry types. And these industry types are used by the Bureau just to categorize these different companies. And so, of course, like all the other projects in here, we faced our own challenges. And so the main ones that we had, or that I'll talk about, is demographic labeling. So we had mismatched counties and regions that we just had to organize with the help of GrowFL. And then we also had Tableau dashboards, because we all have a different idea of how we want the data to come together. But at some point, we have to decide and create these dashboards for our client. And now we'll move into the first visualization that we have. And so this first dashboard is our summary dashboard. And this dashboard, we can see our applicants and honorees, total count across the years. And we can see that through 2017 and 2018. And then we can go back to all. And if we check at the bottom left, we can pick a specific industry like manufacturing, who has over 130 applicants, and about 73 of those became honorees. So then we can also see in the top left corner that the average annual revenue growth for this industry was over $6.6 million. But if we check at a different industry like construction and real estate, they have around $8 million in average annual gross revenue. And then we can also see that their FTE growth is higher than manufacturing, and that their revenue growth is higher than manufacturing. And then we can move on to our next visualization. And so this visualization, we can check into a specific region for our applicants' FTE growth, say like Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay region. And we can see at the bottom right corner, the darkest bar is Citrus County, which has 66% in FTE growth. And we can check on the left side on the Florida map, and we'll see that there's only one applicant that's making up for this high FTE growth. But if we want to check the county next to it, Hillsborough, they have 42 applicants, and they're producing around 32% FTE growth. So Citrus County is more of an outlier here. And then we can also back out and check a specific industry. So say we can check IT and media. And then if we look at the top right corner, we'll be able to see Palm Beach, which has the most applicants in this industry. And then the second most is going to be Orange County. So to summarize, this dashboard can be used by GrowFL to check FTE growth, the FTE growth of their applicants by specific regions, counties, and industries. And yeah, that's pretty much about it for me. So I'm going to let my other teammate, Sriram, do the rest of this.
Thank you, Patrick. So, as we have all seen the visuals relating to the quantitative data, so now let's look into the qualitative data, that is the text data which we have in our project. So we perform text mining and topic modeling. So all the text data which we received is from the honorees data set, and honorees responded to various columns in various questions in the data. So they responded to various questions like company description, company culture, company's philanthropic activities, and company's unique strength. So these are the steps which we performed in text mining and topic modeling. So the first step was to merge all the text data together. And the second step was to do text pre-processing. So here we had to perform various techniques like tokenization, and then remove the stop words. And then we needed to use regular expressions to remove various unwanted symbols in the text data. And then we used word cloud to represent the most frequent words in the text data. And then we needed to create tokens from the text data, from all the pre-processed text, and then we created the dictionary. So you might be wondered, what is this token? What are these tokens or tokenization? So tokenization is a process of breaking down a large sentence into individual words. And then we perform topic modeling. So we needed to get these topics from the text data. So for that, we used an algorithm called as LDA. So LDA gave us the best results out of all the topic modeling algorithms which we used. So these are the group of words, the corpus of words which are given by our LDA algorithm. And you can see this cluster of words, which is machine intelligence, like given by LDA. And these are the topics which we came up, which is human intelligence. like we tried to categorize these topics based on the context of the words. So we came up with topics like community engagement and sustainability, strategic leadership, innovative workforce, evidence-based design, and scaling the customer base. So now let's dive deep into the text mining visualization. So here you can see the distribution of topics across various regions, across counties, across regions, across industries, by age of the firm, and across various years. So if you look into the first visualization that is on the top left, we can clearly see the highlighted blue region is the high FTE generating topics. So on the x-axis, you can clearly see the topic labels, and on the y-axis, you can see the responses which are given by various honorees, like unique strengths, company culture, company description, and philanthropic activities. So on the top left visualization, when we select community engagement and sustainability and strategic leadership, we can clearly see that these two topics are the most repeated or the most frequent topics which are found out of the text data, all the text topic data, all the topics. So, and these topics turned out to be the most FTE generating topics out of all the other topics. And when we look into the central visualization, that is the distribution of topics across the years from 2017 to 22, we can see that strategic leadership has been consistent across all the years. But in the year 22, we can see the community engagement and sustainability has not gotten into where it should be when compared to the previous years. So we believe that this should be we believe that this could be the community engagement and sustainability can be a topic where GrowFL can try to look into. And also, using all these visualizations, we would like to, using all these visualizations, GrowFL can try to support the mission of expanding their mission of supporting the second stage companies, thereby which create economic development and sustainability. And these are the recommendations and next steps for GrowFL. So first recommendation which we have is to travel to various counties and where there are less number of applications. So in this visualization, we can clearly see a comparison between the total, on the left side visualization, we can see that the total Florida establishments, second stage establishments across various counties. And on the right side, we can see the total Florida establishments, second stage establishments, which are received by GrowFL from 2017 to 22. So on the left side, we can see that the high density or the darker regions correspond to where more number of second stage establishments are there. And on the right side visual, we can see that the darker regions correspond to the higher number of application count. So this will be like a comparative visualization, which will help GrowFL to find out where regions where they are getting less number of applications from. And the second recommendation which we have is to, in the applicant to honorary process, we created a feature engineering tool called as revenue stability, which can be used in their in filtering out the applicants across various industries and regions. And the third recommendation which we have is to develop community engagement programs using the topics which we created. So the topics like community engagement can be used as these topics are spread out across various industries and regions. So these topics can be used and they can create a marketing plan, a marketing strategy according to that particular region, and then they can expand their program to various industries and regions. And then the fourth recommendation which we have is to diversify their outreach to other industries. Like from our analysis, we have found out that manufacturing industry and the IT industry are getting the most number of applications. So, so GrowFL can also start looking into other industries like retail and hospitality and trade and logistics, where less number of applications are coming from. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite Partha from FPN team for the next presentation.
Thank you, Sriram, for inviting me in this session. So yeah, I am Partha. I have been working with Florida FPN Network project this year with my teammate Vinaya. So after arts education and second stage companies, you are gonna listen from like Census. So we have worked on the problem with census data. So before starting, I wanna share some interesting fact. So the first census came out by like human was in 3800 BC by the Babylonians, and the United States first census was happened on 1790 August 2nd. So the problem we are working with, it's not like modern. It's the origin of its problem is like really old. So fast forwarding into the modern day US Census, I am going to share you some facts and some key points on that. So data collection has been changed, not more like by hand or by in person. It's just now taking on the internet-based and online. So in the United States, the data is being collected in 10 years, which is called decennial census. So the important part of the decennial census is this census data has been working with to the funding, the distribution of the federal assistantship program. That means based on the census data or decennial census, the funding has been distributed over the states. So as decennial census provides that, the American Community Survey or ACS provides the routine update on socio-demographic profile, employees data, and more to provide the standard business standards and the other institutions to get how the changes are happening into the communities. So they might know like the differences in 3 years or 5 years, how are they going on? So ACS is working on that. And the US Census also does the coverage measurement. So the reason behind that is to find out how the census is doing and whether there is any error or the way of removing that, that error into the next census. So post-intervention survey is one of the census measurement or measurement coverage of the US Census is doing. And last, we are talking about the 2020 census. That was the last of this decade, and 24th in the history of the United States. So all the things have been done in online and internet-based things. The methodology of data collection is not only modernized, the error has been also updated. Sorry. So one of the problem is undercounting. So what is undercounting? So the meaning of undercounting means when census misses people. It's just not like some individual people or like some definite persons. It's just a block or region of a group in our area that misses in the census. So how it happens? So historically, language barriers, internet accessibility, housing information. So this kind of things working behind on it. But as we are working with 2020, you know what it is. So the census was like a mess in 2020 census, and we have been dealing with that. But the thing is, based on that census, there's a lot of area in the whole United States have been undercounted, and Florida is unluckily one of that. So Florida has faced the undercounting by the post-intervention survey report, and it's 3.8% of the whole population have been affected on that. So based on the region, like how is the impact you can look like. So according to Florida Tax Watch, Florida state will be losing around $11 billion to $21 billion by the end of the decade. So it's a huge loss for Florida. So considering this, our wicked problem is here. We're just trying to find out who were missed in the census. and what is their demographic profile, what is the region, and which area from they are coming from. And lastly, I mean, as we are looking into the problem into the deep, we need to realize how is the response method of them, and what is the socioeconomic impact of that. We got to know some of the Florida Tax Watch report, but we just looking forward to like how it will cover into our area, and how it will look like furthermore into details. So based on that, we have been working with Florida Philanthropic Network this year. Florida Philanthropic Network is a statewide grant makers who expands philanthropy through research, education, and public policy. So FPN is working on behalf of like to counter this undercounting problem, so that Florida is not anymore the undercounted state by the next decade. So Florida FPN has been reached out to the Texas census team, because Texas is another state with an undercounting like for 1.92%, which makes us, Florida is the highest undercounting percent of the whole over the United States. So there was a methodology have been developed by research led by UT Austin. But the thing is, FPN cannot just like plug in Florida data to get the undercounting values. And also there's an important point, like US Census doesn't provide the undercounting by county level or more detailed region, so that we cannot know in which Florida county is more prone to undercount, which area we need to look forward, something like that. So with this view in mind, FPN reached to DSSG team to get a Florida-specific data analysis so that we can find the county level undercounting and how we can provide the data analysis to the grant makers so that we can impact the, we can counter the impact. So our DSSG project goals based on the data we found. So by the Texas report or Texas methodology, we take it as our base. So based on the data, we have been looking forward into the measures, what we can do. And we intended to find a county level undercounting population-wise methodology to provide Florida FPN network. And lastly, we have kept in mind about the dashboard and about the storytelling. How it would like help FPN to grow, and it would help to go to another fundraisers and something like that. So as we are working with data for social good, so we have been relied more on the public data available. So the US Census Bureau was our first data sources that we've been working with. So we have taken demographic profile and housing units data from US Census Bureau. We have also looked forward into our social factors. So we took the data from Opportunity Atlas, as Texas has been relied on that. But we have changed our measures because Florida is a really unique, and it has been like not the same parameters are occurring into here. So our other factors was taken from Florida Nonprofit Alliance and ALICE data. We have been taken the nonprofit organization involvement and poverty rate and how it is connected with economically. So our last data was Florida Supervisor of Elections. That means we have taken the 2020 voters turnout data from there. So that means how people are engaged into the county level and what is the civic engagement looks like. So these are our key data sources into our project. So yeah, again, here we go again. So about the challenges, we have faced a lot of challenges. So about the data collection, or the data-wise, we have been working with 3 decades data, 2020, 2010, and 2000, because whenever you are trying to find a trend, a 3-point analysis will be better. But the thing is, 2020 was completely different, and it was the parameters taken, it was not available in the 2020 and 2000 data. So we couldn't hold water onto the 2010 and 2000 census, so we have to stick on the 2020 data. And we have taken the measures based on our correlations between the parameters we have taken, and we found out which are the key regions or key measures playing behind on it. And based on that, we have cleaned our data. For that, we have faced problems with standardizing and also we have to bound the data and rescale the data to get a better understanding and better visuals. Lastly, we have intended to provide a master file to FPN so that they can use it furthermore to use it for another analysis or whatever they need. So yeah, I'll stop by here and I'll ask my next teammate to show you the visuals and the methodology that we have done. Thank you.
Thanks, Partha, for inviting me. Yes, you can see that there is math behind our methodology. But for now, let's just skip to the concept behind it. So in our approach, we deal with three main dimensions. So first one is personal dimension. In here, we have taken into factor the two things, that is civic engagement and social capital. What is civic engagement? So it refers to how people are actively involved in their community activities. So more the people are involved in the community activities, more likely they are able to participate in the census as well. Next comes social capital. So this refers to trust, connection, and relationships between the people. So more the social cooperation between the people, more likely they are able to participate in the census. Our second dimension is geography dimension. So in this, we look into factor the two things, that is difficult to register and difficult to reach. So you can think of something like mobile homes or homes which are newly constructed, so that might not be registered and the census workers might not be able to reach out to them and chances of them being not counted is high. Finally, our third dimension focuses on the census campaigning dimension. In here, two main things are non-response rate and digital divide. So if the non-response rate is high, that means most of the people did not answer the census survey and chances of them being not counted is high. And for digital divide, we all are living in the digital era now, and 2020 census was online for the first time. So, but here the problem is that a lot of the counties and a lot of the people might not have internet access. So dealing with that is one of the major issue. That's why we are taking into factor of this. Now you might think that why only these dimensions and factors? Yes, census data is very vast, and initially we took a lot of variables that might be related to Florida undercounting issue. And then we did some correlations and chose the best measures. Now that you know methodology, let's move on to our results. Let's see what actually happened in Florida for 2020 census. In the dashboard, here it's a Florida map is displayed. So this shows the undercount percent for Florida. The color of the shade of the color represents the intensity of the undercount percent. You can see that Miami-Dade has the darkest color, and it is the most undercounted county, and the Nassau County has the lowest undercount percent. Now, if you just glance through this visualization, you can see that some of the counties in North region, South region, and Central region shows the highest undercount percent. Now, let us focus on the North Central region of Florida. Here, you can see that most of the rural counties like Hamilton, Madison, Taylor shows the higher undercount percent. Next, let us move on to our second visualization, that shows the undercount estimate. So how we got this visualization is that we took the undercount percent and multiplied with the population of each county so that we got the actual value, actual number of the undercounted people. Now, if you see here, you can see that in the north region of Florida, you can see more of the darker gray shade. That means it has less undercount value. That's because it has most of the rural counties, and the population share of rural counties is less compared to the urban counties. Now, if you see urban counties, you can see most of them are in the Tampa Bay region, northeast of Florida, and southeast. Now, let us see top 10 counties which have been undercounted. So if you see that, you can see that Hillsborough County, the Orange County, and the Southeast, that is Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, Broward, and one of the county, that is Duval County in the Northeast region, shows out. We do not have only the undercount analysis for FPN, but also we have done some factor-wise analysis so that they can have a deeper dive and get some insights. So this is a correlation. This map shows the correlation between percent of households without internet and economic connectedness. The blue bubbles represent the rural counties and orange bubble represents the urban counties. So you can see here that there's a negative correlation between these two. That means higher the households without internet, lower is the economic connectedness. But you can see one county, that is Flagler County. It's a slight exception. Although it has higher percentage of households without internet, it also has better economic connectedness. Similarly, we have made correlations for all the dimensions. Now that you have seen the results, let's just move on to our final slide, that is recommendation and implications. So let me break down the dimension-wise implication. So for personal dimension, we saw that most of the counties in north of Florida shows the higher undercount rate. Hence, we recommend FPN to connect with non-profits in these regions and come up with the strategies so that they can engage people and engage them in more community activities. For a geographic dimension, we saw that most of the urban counties shows the highest undercount rate. That is because constant development is happening and new houses have been built. For example, St. John's County, a lot of houses are constantly built over there. So we recommend FPN to connect with property register offices and come up with good strategy for proper geocoding so that it will not be an issue in the coming 2030 census. And finally, for census campaigning dimension, we saw that most of the rural counties are showing the higher undercount rate. That is because of the internet access. So we recommend FPN to improve internet access in these particular counties so that so that in 2030 census it won't be an issue. Now we are hoping that with all the visualizations, FPN has enough data and resources to come up with good strategies so that they can address the undercounting issue for 2030 census. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Dr. Umapati to back to the stage.
Initially, we were very worried about the time, but they all did a wonderful job that now we have enough time to do a lot of other things. So I'm going to now welcome all the interns to come back to the stage again, please. So if you guys can stand for 1 minute, that would be great. So let's give a big round of applause for all of them. Yes. So all 7 of them grow on every aspects that we address and cover during our internship. Right? Now we can clearly see that they have done their job and they've done so good that it's clearly we can see that our 3 community partners definitely will be able to use them and will be able to benefit from them, right? So now it's the turn that we hear from them, right? So they're going to essentially answer 3 questions. From their point of view, what was the biggest big reveal? Now, given that big reveal, what is the impact for their organization? And then given that impact, what is their next action item for their organization, right? So I would like to now invite Dr. Chen, Ruth, and Ashley to come to the stage.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Lucy Chen, and I'm the VP of Advocacy and Community Engagement at the Cathedral Arts Project. So I want to give a huge shout out to Dan, Karthik, and Amanda and Yuan for their incredible work. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Katie, who is from NLP Logics, who's been helping us with this project as well. Before I start question number 1, I want to share that this project has been the highlight of this summer. So most of everyone, when they're talking about data, you would see people starting to yawn. But I'm the one who's constantly asking. I remember one session, I heard Karthik said, oh, right, we're talking to Lucy. That's why there's all these questions. And the reason behind these questions is that all of this work is highly relevant to our community. When we talked about the arts, it's very vague. We think about dance, singing, drawing. What does that have to do with students' academic achievement? Well, thanks to DSSG, we found that there is a correlation between the arts and the student success. In fact, the schools that had more access to the arts tend to have better student performance and higher school grades. So all of that is thanks to this team who conducted the work. And how will this be, what will be the impact of the project for my organization? Well, I want to share that we were able to turn data into action because of this project. This summer, as Amanda alluded to earlier, we were able to invite 2,200 students to go and see a theater performance for the first time. But what is really important is that we actually connected literacy and the arts together. So in addition to just going on the field trip, the content of the field trip and the performance went back into their school's academic studies. Students read about the stories and they made masks and eventually saw the performance. But another major component was that for many of these children, it was their first time going on a field trip, crossing the bridge to the other side of Jacksonville and sitting inside a historic theater that is nearly 100 years old. That is why this work here at DSSG is so important, because it is transforming lives of children. And what are the next steps for us? Well, we know that the principals are unsung heroes. So they are the ones who champion the arts. They are the ones who constantly invest in the arts. And they are the ones who rally up children, parents, and our community together. So having this roadmap to help them find ways to increase access to the arts, while on the other hand, help us showcase and highlight their work is tremendous impactful. So thank you all so much for all the time that you have helped us with this project.
Can't live without my phone. So I did write a few things so I don't forget anything. Yes, so thank you all for this opportunity. Ruth Buchanan from GrowFL. So the big reveal for me personally is that met some wonderful people, the Sherpas, the stakeholders, the sponsors, and of course our students. So thank you all for that. That's my personal revelation, big reveal. For the organization, I think as you saw, it was really a two-part analysis, right? So there's the numeric data analytics that they had done. But then at the beginning of the journey, I said, you know what? Companies to watch in their application, they also have to convince us that they're good corporate citizens and that they have a good corporate culture. And there's all these essay questions. I said, I don't know what you're going to be able to do with that, but go for it. See what you can do. And as you saw, that was a fantastic LDA analysis on Word. And so we can definitely take that. So yeah, so that was my biggest reveal. As far as the impact of the project on the organization, I'm going to stick to my talking points because I could go forever on this one. So the wicked problem really was we just needed to understand how Florida companies to watch is penetrating the state. So this is a state program. Second stage companies in the state of Florida, we focus on them because there is, I think Ashley was the one that said it, the impact of second stage companies in the state of Florida is phenomenal. They make up about 12% of the total number of enterprises or establishments in the state, yet they create 34% of the jobs. Say it again, 12%, 34. That's a big impact. And when they move on to third stage or they get sold out, the impact is even more immense. So we are happy to see how we are understanding the penetration in the state, in the various regions, and the counties. You saw that map, I think it was Patrick that showed it, the different map, how the establishments are in the state versus how we're touching those counties. That is a big thing. That was actually one of the first challenges I told them. I said, you need to show me how we're doing in terms of penetrating the state. So that was even that alone is worth the price of admission. Oh, no, this is all volunteer work. So thank you to the sponsors. So understanding is key, right? Knowledge is powerful, data is powerful. So that's a number 2. Next steps. Oh my God. Okay, let's see. I cannot wait to delve deeper into the analytics. You saw when Patrick started clicking those fields. I don't know if you all have seen how powerful Tableau is, and they have drilled it down for us so that when we go in there and look at how the industries are doing, what companies are doing well, and what are the correlation among other things. We cannot wait to start slicing and dicing those data, and then see where the trends are. Right? Understand, the Companies to Watch program was started about 12 years ago. So we have 12 years of data. By the way, I was only able to give them 6 years because beyond COVID, 2017 was harder to get the information. But so just to see the trends and the correlation between the corporate culture and how well the companies are doing and how competitive they are, given the structure of management. See, this is the window into how strategic leadership is doing their work in terms of leading the organizations. Again, we're second stage companies, right? And a lot of our CEOs, by the way, they're still the founders, just so many of you understand that. They're founders and they're still CEOs. And the other analysis on how the different industries are contributing more to the state GDP and how those jobs are being created, that is key. That's like the gold standard of Florida Companies to Watch. The numeric part of the program is the revenue and the job creation. So we're going to definitely take a look at that. And as I think, Patrick, you mentioned about, the choosing of the county. It's really funny. When I saw, sorry, I made your work a little harder because some of the companies were just choosing not the right county. So I think it's a simple fix. Have you done the USPS zip code when you put in your address and then you put in your zip code incorrectly and it tells you, no, stupid, your zip code is this? So I think we're going to do something like that. This is your county. Sorry, can I say that word? Sorry about that. And lastly, 2 more points. We want to take a look at how investment funding is happening in correlation with the wonderful findings that our students have given us. Again, remember, second stage, we want them to grow, we want them to fly, we want them to be in second stage or continue to add value to the state. Finally, my point, and this is also came in the initial deliberation. Remember what I said? Knowledge is power. So what's the next step? Next step is GrowFL will redo our impact analysis. Those numbers that we showed you, those about 5, 6, 7 years old. So I cannot wait to update those analyses of our true impact to the state economy. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Dietz. I'm the president and CEO of the Florida Philanthropic Network. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I wanted to thank the students, too. I was blown away by all 3 of the presentations. Thank you to our 2 interns as well. My colleague and I were joking that we need to up our PowerPoint game because I am not nearly as fancy, but I just wanted to say thank you all for your hard work. Florida Philanthropic Network, we are a network of foundations that are trying to build philanthropy for a better Florida. And the reason why that we did this project, well, first and foremost, I want to thank Sabine Perways, who is actually here from the Florida Nonprofit Alliance. She told us about this opportunity. So without that passing of information, we wouldn't have known to apply. So thank you so much for that. But why this is so important to us as an organization, the census in 2020, we were big partners with a lot of statewide organizations and funders because we wanted to make sure that we did not lose anyone in the count. Well, we had 3.46%, which is the 4th worst in the country. And as they shared in their presentation, that equates to between 11 and 21 billion, which is a very huge range that would impact our state. And why philanthropy cares about this is oftentimes when government services, when they lose their funds or those funds are not get drawn down, they're taxpayer dollars, right? Philanthropy is asked to fill in the gap. So we want to make sure that we have the most adequate count so that that money is not left on the table to provide the services that are so important to your communities here in Florida. So how we're going to utilize this data and why it's so important. So I've seen this presentation before. We were highly involved, obviously, as part of this internship program. But to see it live like this in real time really just invigorates and continues the importance for us as an organization to push forward this work. It's only 2023, so I'm sure you're sitting in the audience thinking, well, why does this matter for 2030? That's 7 years away. We have to get this right now. The infrastructure is unbelievably important, and we can't have an undercount like that again because we'll miss out on billions of dollars. So to see it in Tableau, to see the 10 counties and the different factors and variables as to why there potentially could have been an undercount in those areas is critically useful for us as we work with our statewide partners, Florida Tax Wash, Florida Nonprofit Alliance, the Florida Chamber, to get this message out to different stakeholders, different sectors. The public sector cares about it, the business sector should definitely care about this information, and to understand the why and the how we as FPN can better disseminate these facts and information so this doesn't happen again in our messaging of why the census is so important. So kind of next steps for me, similar to my friend who spoke before, we want to kind of delve in deeper into the data. We also want to make sure we go on a roadshow and share this data. We don't want to gatekeep it just for FPN. We really believe in data transparency, and it is for our partners that we work with so we can kind of affect this change going forward to 2030. This has been a fantastic experience for me and our team, and if anyone's out there thinking about applying next year, I highly recommend it. So thank you so much.
Fantastic. Normally we have a Q&A session, but I think what we're going to do tonight, given the time frame, is that we'll allow after the event is over, you can come and talk to the interns and ask them all kinds of questions about the program and their experiences and talk to our community partners. But what we'd like to do now is to invite our president, President LeMahieu, to come and make a few remarks.
Thank you, Dan. Good afternoon. Oh, I know you've seen a lot of data, but I think we can do better than that. Good afternoon. Good, good. Just a couple of weeks ago, celebrated my first anniversary at UNF. And I remember vividly, almost a year ago, I was right here. This was the very first event, UNF event held outside that I participated in. And I really believe the first year was a very successful year, and I always think, I'm a superstitious person, that because I attended this great event, the year was good. So came the second year, my assistant said, you are quadruple booked for events that cannot be changed, and it's just not possible for you to attend this year. I said, I need a very good year. I don't care. I need to attend. So if you saw me in the parking lot speaking alone, I'm not going insane. I was on a Zoom call so that I can make this event. And it's really, truly remarkable event. So let me first thank all the sponsors and the funders of this great event. So please just stand so that we can all acknowledge you if you're sponsoring. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You make it possible. Really want to also thank the organizations, the clients. Thank you so much for giving a chance for our students. This is great. I want to thank the students. I'm so proud of you. I really am. You're the reasons all of us wake up every single morning, look forward to go to the university so that we can make your lives and make our community better because of you. So thank you. Let's give them a big round of applause. You know, there is a big team that makes this happen, and this great colleagues who do this. They do it in addition to everything else they do. So Dan and whomever participated, thank you. Thank you for doing this. One of the things we're very proud of the first year here was to renewing, sharpening, updating our strategic plan. And you will see how this initiative is at the heart of every single strategic priority we have. We want UNF to be the magnet, to be the destination of choice for students. Projects like this will help us attract great students, very diverse students, and we're very proud of that. We want also to be a magnet for faculty and staff. Our faculty and staff do care about the community, and this will help us to retain our great faculty, but also attract great faculty. Also a magnet for philanthropy. We want donors to invest in UNF, legislators to continue invest in UNF, but more importantly for partners to come to us for partnerships. So that's the high-level vision. We also want UNF to break into the top 100 in US World News and Report. And many of the criteria for that ranking are about student success. We want to grow strategically. Do you know how many students we have at UNF? I know you do, so you cannot answer this. Okay, I will offer you free snack. How many? I wish we were there. We're not there yet. 12,000. Who said 12,000? Very good, but wrong. That's a really good wrong answer, though. We're 17,000 approximately. And our strategic plan, we will be 25,000 by the year 2028 in 5 years. But it's really important that we all understand that that growth will be strategic. What does it mean strategic? It means it will be in areas where our community, our employers of our students and our region need the talent. And guess what is at the heart of the majors and fields and specialties and skills that are so highly sought after? We not doing enough in terms of providing the data or the talent. She gave you the answer with the data. Yeah, I get very excited when I talk about data. So it is definitely data science, artificial intelligence, technology. This is where the need is, and this is where we're determined to do that. Now, how we're going to get there? We will get there by focusing on 4 priorities. Student success. Student success is really important for us. What does it mean? It means we attract great students, we give them great educational experience, they stay with us, retention is really good, they graduate on time, and also they have great jobs at graduation with competitive salaries. I always have to mention the competitive salaries. The parents love that part of the sentence. And you know, research have shown any students with experiential learning, which is just euphemism for saying practical experiences, more than 93% of them will have a job at graduation very shortly after with a competitive salary. So this is just absolutely at the heart of student success. Another strategic priority that will help us reach our goals is faculty and staff success. You know, our great faculty love this. They really like this, and it gives them a sense of purpose that identify what UNF is all about, is to be good to our community. We looked at the data from 2018 to 2022, and we just looked at how many hours from 2018 to 2022, how many hours are spent by our students, mentored, supervised by our faculty and staff. They spent working with nonprofit and different organizations to make our community better. How many hours would you say? From 2018 to 2022. Couldn't include 23 because the year is not over. So how many? Just, it's okay. Even if it is, yes. Very good. And I will take 3 answers. And if you get the right answer, it will change your life once and for all. 250,000. Anybody say more or less? If you don't give me 3 answers, you're not leaving the room tonight. You're staying here. 2.5, you're very close. Actually, we translated it to exactly 246 years, more than 2 centuries. That's the equivalent on how much our great students working with our amazing faculty and staff are giving back to the community. So that's why this, again, is really important, and it's important for our faculty and staff. Another strategic priority, and there are only 4, I promise, we're almost done. It's like, oh, where is he going now? The third one is research that really matters, that is impactful, timely, and relevant for our community. You all agree that this, again, is at the heart. And last but not least, community engagement and partnerships. This is, again, at the heart of this. So I think we almost made the strategic plan to fit everything we do here. I cannot tell you how proud I am. I think we're going to have an amazing second year because we're all here. And I look forward to many, many more years. Thank you so much for the client organizations. Really, thank you for giving a chance. Thank you again, and appreciate everyone was here. Please always think of UNF as a resource. We're here. UNF is open for business. We have as a strategic goal to make our community better, to make our nonprofit better, and to make the businesses in our community better. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I was told by his office that he's already adjusting an important meeting to be in here, so that's why I had to remove the Q&A question and answering as part of this event. Sorry for that, but we're going to wrap the event up, and I know some of you do want to talk with the community partners and our interns. I will allow them to have the separate discussion soon. All right, so quickly wrap up. So as you can see, so we've been doing this 7 years. So the first year when we did it was also was funding from the outside sources. Nonprofit Center was the main funding source at that point in the first year. And after all the past years, many of our funding sources has been within UNF, majority of it. But then this is another year where all the sources of funding we had was all from the external industry organization. And that is what is going to be the ways for us to do moving forward. So we, again, appreciate many industries jumping in and helping us out. And both Ari and Matt really worked hard to push around all the industry organizations to support it. And we are looking for the same support for our year 2024. And another thing is what you saw was a summer internship, and we are also working on other events. So this will be a fall event that hackathon, AFR Good Hackathon that we are working with. So this will be like 48-hour event. A group of UNF students will be working together to solve problems and the data set from First T. And they will be using AWS technologies to solve the problem. And this will be 48 hours, and they will make their final presentation on a Sunday night. And I'm really hoping there will be no hurricane at that weekend. Right. So, and finally, let's call out for all the other community partners in here. If you have good, interesting questions and data around it, and you want to talk to us, please do reach out to us. With that, I'm going to wrap this event, and we're going to now do quickly some photos we're going to take. So some of us have to leave early. So we're going to take a big group picture, and then I will allow everyone to mingle with each other and talk with each other. So I would like all the mentors, community partners, any other representative of the community partners and the industry partners, sponsors to come to the stage so that we can do a big group picture. Thank you.